This is the 2022 Ford Expedition Stealth Appearance Package, and this thing looks incredible. We've got our Expedition Blackout badge in the front. On top of that, take a look at these wheels. Absolutely stunning. Now we're going to be diving in, doing a quick POV look at the 2022 Expedition. Few things. This is the Max version, and it's just the regular Stealth package. Because technically the Stealth package also comes in an upgraded Performance package, which is going to do a little bit of extra stuff underneath the hood, give you that high output performance. But this one just has the regular Stealth, which still looks fairly nice all at the same time. Steve here, and before we get started, I do want to give Formula Ford a huge shout out and a thank you for letting me use this thing for the afternoon to shoot this video for you today. But let's dive into it, unpack this Stealth package, and see what this vehicle has to offer. Now, first thing you can take a look at right from the outside of the truck, but look at this. We've got our Ford badge that's black instead of the traditional blue oval that we're normally going to see. Now, this thing is the limited version of the Expedition, so we're limited Stealth Edition package, which means that we do have quite a loaded vehicle inside of this. Not quite as loaded as the Platinum, but this still is pretty nice. It's just right in the front. You can see in that grille, we do have our little camera there. So we've got our front-facing camera. We've got our side view mounted cameras for our full 360 view. On top of that, we do have our park sensing system, so our forward sensors. And we do have some black painted tow hooks. So nice metallic feel there. Nice parts of the bumper, and honestly, I love this package. Look at this, absolutely beautiful black, which is incredible. Now this is the Max, which gives us a little bit of extra space in the trunk, and it extends the vehicle out a little bit. The Max is a pretty long vehicle at the end of the day, but it still is nice all at the same time. But the front end, we do have our LED headlamps there, LED fogs down below, but the tires, I am in love with the look of these black. Any tire realistically that's got this black look, I think is fantastic. We've got our General Grabber tires on these things. Looks really, really sharp. I love what Ford's done. You can see we've got our painted calipers there as well, which again, just gives it a little bit more of an aggressive look. Now, a few things about the Expedition. We do have our running boards on there. So power deployable, look at that. Power deployable running boards, side view mirrors with our blind spot system. Underneath, we've got our side view mounted cameras there as well, which give us our full 360 view. Along our driver's side door, we do also have our 5-digit number there. We can press the bottom two to lock the vehicle. We've got intelligent access, so we can also press there in order to be able to lock, or we can slide our hand underneath in order to be able to unlock. But look at this. Red stitching, great looking highlights that follow all the way throughout the seat, driver passenger seat, and that literally goes first, second, and third row with that red stitching highlight. Looks amazing. We've got this nice metallic highlight on the door, Bang & Olufsen badge, which has that nice kind of chrome look all at the same time. BO badge. A little bit of storage space along the driver passenger seat. We do have a little map, which I'm actually curious offhand. I don't know where that is. So if you know where this map is, what it's of, let me know down below. But it is a fairly unique look. Moving inside of the vehicle. So that red stitching we saw on the door carries through the dash all the way through. Looks fantastic. As we move down, we have a unique feature. So we can actually push this button. Watch this. Watch the third row. So we can power fold the headrest in the third row. We also have the option of opening and closing the trunk from the inside, figure out what's going on with our running lamps. We can turn our fog lamps on or off and adjust the brightness of the cluster screen. We've got an electronic parking brake, power adjustable pedals, so if you're a little bit vertically challenged, we can adjust there. And then we can also pull to get underneath the hood. But taking a peek along the driver's seat, we do have a few different options available, so we can go forwards, backwards, adjust our backrest, and then we've got our power lumbar support on top of that. Now, when we get into certain versions of the vehicle, like the Platinum version, we will also have massage chair seats, which are absolutely beautiful. But let's have a peek at that hood. Oh, taking a peek. Again, this Expedition badge, absolutely stunning. And then taking a look. So we've got a little release there, so you can see all we have to do is pull and lift and take a peek at this. Absolutely amazing look. Now, the Expedition technically does only have one available engine choice, and that's the 3.5 liter turbocharged engine that we're looking at here. But having said that, we do have a few different options for the power output, just depending on which version of the vehicle that you're in. Because when we get into the regular Stealth package, that's going to be very different than the Stealth Performance package instead. But looking at the base numbers here, so the regular 3.5 liter EcoBoost in the Limited is going to push at 400 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque, versus the high output, which is 440 horsepower, but an impressive 510 pound-feet of torque, which is amazing. So you'll find that high output engine when you get into that Stealth Performance package or the Timberline version of the vehicle. But we've got easy access to a few things, so if we need to, we can top up our fluids. We can also give people a jump start if we need to. Checking the oil is a little bit more challenging because if we take a look there, so we do have our little dipstick there right on the far side of the engine bay. I'm 6 feet tall and I can kind of just get to it. So a little bit challenging if you want to do it yourself. Not impossible, but it is there as an option if that's something you want to do. But the base 3.5 liter engine looks great. Visually, it's going to look the same as the high output. It's just going to be tweaked just a tiny little bit. We've got our fire shield up overhead there as well. And then we do have our little intake. Love it. Look at that look. Look at that look. Beautiful. All right, now a few other things. You can see along the top, we do have our roof rack rails as well. Crossbars, so if you have a carrier, you've got the ability to easily move things around as necessary. And hopping inside, let's go to the first row here. So this thing looks, you can see that animation going on the screen. Look at that. I'll start it up for you in a second, but I just love the look of it. Like I said, we've got this great red stitching. Because we're in the Limited, we just have a two-way adjustable headrest, so we can just go up and down with it. We can't go four-way like we can in the higher trim. But hopping inside, one thing that is nice, we do have, you can make it out here, so we do have a telescoping power steering wheel. Looking at the wheel, so that same black highlight that we saw on the front of the truck there with the Ford badge carries through to the steering wheel. We've got our adaptive cruise control system. We've also got a few other menu buttons and things like that, but I gotta start this bad boy up. Look at this, push button start, nice and simple. But this is just gonna be a basic look. If you want an in-depth look at the steering wheel cluster or the new Sync 4 media screen, check down in the description below. I've put together crazy comprehensive videos explaining how all this stuff works. So if you wanna know how to connect a phone, set up Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, things like that, look down below. But we've got a great amount of functionality inside of this thing. I love, honestly, look at the highlights here though. I love it. And then as we move to different drive modes, so we've got a selector switch down the center stack, but as we go to different modes, it gives us a different look, shifts us out into different options as well, just depending on the mode that we're in. But I love me my sport mode, so I would probably have it there all the time. And that's just using the selector switch down the center stack. But beautiful look overall, and a fully digital, borrowed from the F-150. And that's one of the great things, like the Expedition got an upgrade for the 2022 model year, so did the Navigator. So both built on the same platform, so they got an upgrade for 2022, and it looks unbelievable. I love the way that Ford's done this redesign, but it reminds me of the F-150 to a degree with some of the things, this like crazy deep armrest, which we'll get to in a second. But moving across, as I mentioned, we are push button start, and we've got that red highlight stitching that carries all the way through the dash itself. Bang on a Lufsen badge right on the very top. And then this Sync 4 media screen, like it looks incredible. We've got factory navigation, but we can use Google Maps, Apple Maps, and Waze if we're connected through Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. One of the great things is that Android Auto, Apple CarPlay are now wireless inside of this vehicle, which is amazing. But so many different options that are available. We've got basic options for towing, but the vehicle also does have park assist. So we've got this little P button there that we can push, and we can have the vehicle help us out with parallel parking, perpendicular parking, parallel park out. But if you want to walk through on how that park assist system works, check down below. I've already put together a comprehensive video. You can see exactly how it works, but it is amazing, super simple. We choose whether we want parallel park, perpendicular park, etc., and we can kind of adjust out from there. So really, really great functionality there. Tons of options available for controls, for settings. We've got some good safety settings, so our base driver assistance, like our blind spot system. So it lets us know if anybody's into the blind spot on either side of the vehicle. You can see that highlighting orange in the side view mirror. We've got reverse brake assist, so if we're backing up and there's an obstacle behind us, it's going to slam on the brakes for us as well. But ton of other options. Look at this, so much. And enhanced voice assistant, which is new for the 2022 model year. We've got a little hamburger icon that's going to show us a few other things. So we've got a sketch pad built in, digital owner's manual, and some other great features. As we start to move down, so a few things to point out. New for the 2022 model year, we've got our climate control that's now built into the screen. So, oh, that's toasty. All right, let's move that down a little bit. But it is nice. We're dual zone climate control at a minimum, but we've also got the option of controlling our rear climate as well. So we can easily adjust the rear climate if we want to. We've got our auto modes and a few other things. So dual zone climate control, technically tri-zone climate control if you take the option in the back there into account. We do also have heated and ventilated front seats inside of this thing, which we can easily adjust by moving this rocker up and down. It's amazing. Heated steering wheel. We've got our vent control there as well, which the vent, very, very simple. And then as you saw earlier, as we move through our different options for the vent control, nice highlights. Like, I love what Ford's done with this Sync 4 update. It looks absolutely amazing. We've got a volume rocker, very different, but one of the cool things is that we do have the option of pressing the voice command prompt. 94.9.
Tuning to FM 94.9.
And we can have it adjust. Oh, this is getting nice and cold. Nice and cold. It's amazing. All right, so we've adjusted stations. Oh, yeah. So, amazing. Rush, old school. Love the band, love the song, love the sound, because this thing has the upgraded Bang & Olufsen sound system. So I pointed that out earlier. So we've got our B&O badge there. B&O badge along the top there as well. But it sounds absolutely incredible. Now, as we start to move down, we've got our auto start-stop system, four-way blinkers, and a few other things. We do have this little slider, and you can just make it out along the top there, but we've got our Expedition badge as well. Nice hidden look. We can push this bad boy, and you can also see we've got our ambient light that's kind of shining down. Wireless charge pad, as well as two USB ports, so USB, USB-C, and a little bit of storage on the inside there. This tray, you're not going to pull, because there's a mechanism. You're just going to push and release. Moving down, we do have our rotary shifter, so our park reverse neutral drive into our manual mode, and we can adjust what gear we're in very simply. On top of that, as we move down, we've got our 2 high, 4 auto, or our 4 high, and we can easily adjust out the setting that we're in by moving it as necessary there. Honestly, the easiest is just to keep yourself into 4 auto. Vehicle is going to determine what you should be in. 4 high if it's going to be snowing like crazy out. 2 high, pretty much for everyday driving. We've got our selector switch, which you saw some of the animations earlier. We can go through. Let's get rid of that bad boy. All right, shifting in progress because we're changing out modes, but we can adjust what mode we're in very simply there. So we've got sand mode, mud ruts, and things like that. And each mode is going to do something different to the vehicle. So it's going to change up the dynamics of the ride. Like when we're in the sport mode, it's going to hold on to the RPMs a little bit higher so that it's going to give you a sportier performance in comparison to something like the snow mode or the mud ruts, which is going to play with your traction and stability control for improved off-road or snowy performance, just depending on the mode that you've selected. But as we start to move down from there, we do have our hill descent control, park assist button. Look at this armrest. Tons of space. We've got another PowerPoint back there. Honestly, like, this reminds me of the F-150 with the ridiculous amount of space. Like, I'm almost elbow deep inside of this thing. It is kind of ridiculous. All right. As we move up overhead, there's an auto-dimming rear view mirror. We also do have a few different controls. So our base control along the top for our light. We've also got the controls for this bad boy. So our dual panel panoramic sunroof. We can open this thing up nicely. We do have the option of just venting this thing out if we want to, so just create a nice little cross breeze, or we can open it up. Look at this. So nice that we've got that as an option. Now, it doesn't open up the entire way, as you can see there. So single button press opens it up pretty much the full way. Secondary button press opens it up that little bit more. And just a single button press in order to be able to close it from there, but it's pretty straightforward. Typical Ford styling. We do also have our sunglasses holder. We've got our garage door opener at home. If you've got a garage door opener at home, we can program it in. We've got our vanity mirror, visor, etc. on top of that. And this thing extends out to block all the sun that's potentially hitting your face. And I love it when cars do that. But like, the first row of this thing is amazing. We've got a super comfortable seat with a good amount of bounce and cushion. Unfortunately, in the limited trim, we don't have the massage chair seats as an option. But at the same time, if you don't care about the massage seats, you don't really have to worry about it. You are looking at the higher trims to get the massage seats, but they are really, really nice, especially if you're doing distance trips. But overall styling is really great inside of the first row. Let's take a peek at the second and see what's going on back there. All right, now a few things to point out for the second row. So we do have that same red stitching across that follows all the way through the seats, etc. Looks fantastic. Along the door, we've got a little cup holder there, a little bit of storage all the way down. Nice little cutout, similar to what we saw in the first row. And then hopping inside. This is nice. This is really nice, like super comfortable. One thing to point out, the driver's seat set up for somebody who's 6 feet tall. Like I've got a crazy amount of knee space, good amount of foot space. I do have a little lever there, so I could pull the seat forwards a little bit if I need to. So pretty straightforward there, but nice overall. We've got a few different configuration options, 5, 7, or 8 seat, depending on the version of the vehicle that you're in. But comfort, there's a good amount of cushion inside of this thing, which is nice. Headrest is comfortable, nice and comfortable like what we saw in the first row. Then a few things to point out. We've got our pillar assist handles for the first and second row. We've got our vent control. We've also got our little assist handle along the top. We've got our basic hook, little light, and our speaker. And behind the driver passenger seat, functionally, we do have our pockets there. We've got some cup holders, and then tons of power points. Like, look at this. We've got our USB power points there. We've got our traditional wall outlet there. And then we've also got our 12-volt power point down there. So lots of power all over the place. We've got our base vent control for the second row. And then we've also got heated outboard seats. So the heated outboard seats are going to be for that passenger and driver side seat. This middle seat for the bench is never going to be heated whatsoever. So it's just not an available option inside of the vehicle. But like I said, overall feature, comfort, styling wise, this is fantastic. I'm going to hop outside to show you a few other things as well. Love those deployable running boards. So convenient. All right, now looking at the seats, because this is the bench seat, I guess I shouldn't have hopped out all the way, but because this is the bench, we do have a release along the top, so we can just pull in order to fold down. We've got our tether points, we've got anchors and things like that. So if you've got front-facing, rear-facing child seats, not gonna have an issue inside this vehicle whatsoever. So pretty straightforward, like we can fold the seat down easily there, just by pulling. Same thing, we've got those points along the top, or you can lift this bad boy up. There's a release along the top here. We can pull that in order to power slide the seat forward. So super straightforward to do. As you saw there, we've got a release, pull, slide. Really is that simple. Now, inside of the third row, as you can see there, same idea. We've got all of our points there, behind the bench, etc. Now I've got this seat set up for somebody who's 6 feet tall, so I can comfortably sit on that side there. With it set up like that, I'm 6 feet tall, decent knee space, good foot space. Up overhead, I've got a good amount of space up there too, which is kind of a nice thing. So about 2 inches or so roughly, which is great. Seats are comfortable. And one of the great things, we do also have this little guy. So we can easily recline the seat if we want to. Like it's not a huge recline, like it's not like lazy boy level recline, but at the same time, I'm feeling like a lazy boy right now. Like this is super comfortable. Like I wouldn't mind sitting in the third row. Like if I drew the short straw and had to sit back here, I'd probably be okay with it. But we've got some cup holders there. We've got a USB power point. And then along the very back, we also do have a 12-volt power point there. But no power point along the driver's side. It's strictly going to be in the passenger side. Up overhead, we do also have our seat belt for that middle seat. We've got some base cabin control lights and then some basics for our vent control back here on top of that. So quite a few different options that are available. And the bench for the third row is a 60-40 split. So 60 driver, 40 passenger, so we can fold down one side or the other fairly easily from the back, from the trunk area. So folding on the third row, actually, I don't think is possible from back here. Yeah, no, folding on the third row is not possible if you're in the third row, or even in the second or the first. You've got to do it in the trunk area. So I want to point out one more thing in the seats, and then we're gonna hop to the back. So, mentioned there, we've got all of our attachment points. Slide this bad boy. Now this one, so the one that we would use in order to fold the seat down, in the second row, we also have the flexibility of folding that, pushing the seat back and reclining a little bit. So if you don't really care about the people sitting in the third row, if you've got nobody back there, you can recline, which gives us, it's a boatload of space in comparison. Like we're what? Almost 6-7 inches of space there when I'm fully reclined, with the seat more of like in an upright position instead. Second row, I've got about the same, like 2 inches roughly of space there, similar to what I saw in the third row. But let's take a peek and see what's going on in the cargo area. Now, a few other basics. We do also have our release there for our capless system. So just insert your fuel hose, fill up, and you're good to go. You just need to use regular 87 fuel inside of this thing. But I love it. That Expedition badge, blacked out along the back, as well as the limited badge. So if you weren't in the stealth package, you would just be regular badging there instead, but stealth gives us that blacked out look, which I think looks incredible. But we do have our reverse sensing system, so you can make out those sensors back there as well. We've got our backup camera with a washer there, so that's going to be standard technology. We do also have a release for a few things. So we do have our glass release there. If you want to, we can just pop the glass up as well. And then right underneath where the license plate would be, we also have a power release. We can also do some things with it from the key fob. So on the fob itself, we've got our unlock and our lock button, remote start, trunk release, horn or panic alarm, and then there also is our emergency access key down below. But if you're back here, you do have the flexibility of just doing this, and up she goes. Now, this is the Expedition Max, which gives us a ton of space for the cargo area of the vehicle. But, I mean, if you need the space, you need the space. Now, a few things to point out. We do have some hooks there, so we can add in some cargo nets and things like that if we want to. We've got that 12-volt power point I was showing you earlier. And we've also got a few different things for storage. So we've got our base storage there. We can lift this bad boy up this way if we want to. Nice amount of storage there. We also do have our jack underneath, so if you need to change the tire, you want to do it yourself, you can do that. But one of the cool things is that with this thing, it's actually multi-tiered storage. So we can lift it up. We can slide forward there. And we've got some multi-tiered storage. Now, we're going to have to lock it in a little bit differently, but that's going to kind of give you the basics of it. So it is kind of nice that we can control the storage there if we want to. Pop this bad boy down, click that, and you're set to go. Now, off to the side there, you can also see we've got a series of different buttons in order to raise or lower the second or third row. Now, one thing to note, the second row is a manual down, power release, I should say, down, but then it's a manual back up, versus the third row, which is power up and down. So we can fold down one side or the other, so if we just press that left side there, so you can see, power down, down she goes. And then we can just do a release. So if we just want to fold down the left side, we just press and hold that one, and down that one goes. But so much space inside this vehicle, like it's kind of ridiculous. But I said it before, if you need the space, you need the space. It's just kind of nuts all at the same time how much space you can get inside of the Expedition. But like I said, one of the nice things about the third row is that we do have the flexibility of power folding the seats as well, so we can just do a press, and up that third row seat goes again. Now, we do have some different options, so this is just going to be the base carpet liner for the back. We could do a thermoplastic rubber tray instead if we want to, and that's the same way for the inside. So it's going to come with a regular carpet mat, so we can do a thermoplastic rubber tray instead. You can do something aftermarket. There are a ton of great solutions that are available there. We've got our liftgate that we can push this if we want to, so we can just push that button in order to raise or lower, lower down. We can also do a height adjustment. So if this thing's a bit too big for your garage, we can open and close as necessary there. We just push and hold in order to be able to set our height. And one of the other cool things is that we can also foot activated power liftgate, which is amazing. But like I said, overall styling inside of this is great. One thing, we do have our spare tire that's located just underneath the vehicle. We've also got our hidden tow package there as well. And towing inside of the Expedition is kind of all over the place, depending on how you have the rest of the vehicle configured. But this thing can tow quite a little bit when you look at the heavy-duty tow package with the integrated brake controller, which this one unfortunately doesn't have, but it is available there as an option. And that was a look at the stealth package for the 2022 Expedition. So this thing is nice. I can't get over the wheels. I love the wheels, the black highlights and stylings and things like that you're going to find inside of this package, in this package only. But I hope you enjoyed this video, nice and quick. But if you want a fuller walk around, or you want to know what's going on with the media screen, or if you even want to know what the build is of this thing, check down in the description below. There are tons of links you're going to be able to find down there. But if you enjoyed this one, give it a thumbs up, share it with your social networks, and until I see you next time, take care. So if we press that button, I'm going to push this one in the middle. Watch what happens. So we push, and it's pretty straightforward. And then just button press if we want to. Oh,